You know what my issue is too with church?
What's
Since we're
that?
keeping it funky. We need some teachers. The way that you got the pebble and the stone, and I'm like, okay, I got that. Like sometimes when you go to church, especially reading the King James Version, it's a lot of arts and thous, and I'm like, hold on, I can't read this. I can barely read
Don't do that.
my text.
Don't do that.
I'm saying, I need, and that's what I was telling my father, man. I was like, man, Pop, bro, you gotta water down some of the teaching, because it can fly over our head. You have to understand, we not at that level. I'm not talking about you, and even really not talking about him too, but we're not at that level of understanding the Bible enough to know when you use reference words, when you use certain, vernacular or things like that. So I'm like, man, dang. But the way you've been painting a picture, bro, has just been something that is you can digest it mentally properly.
I think that comes from the fact that I've actually been to Jerusalem. I've actually been to La Pula, Bethesda. I've actually been to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I've actually been to the mountain where David wrote Psalms 23. So when I'm talking to you, I got the picture in my head. The other thing is I work in a profession where non-professionals can be called professional. Like you don't have to really be certified to do what I do. And in every other discipline, it requires a certain level of education and it requires a certain level of professionalism to do it. But the one that I work in, the door is wide open and people can walk into the top without any screening. And it makes what we do, those of us who really take this serious, it makes it difficult, because one of the things I find myself having to do with the people God gave me is I have to spend half of my time unlearning them before I can teach them.
What's your process of preparation? I had this vivid memory, and still I know when not to call my dad, because I know he in preparation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's
It's serious.
It's serious. And you don't lock the door. I got this vivid memory of my father. Like he would almost kind of hang off the bed and be on his knees and would be reading the Bible. And like I would go by the room and I said like, nah, can't go in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much respect we had for him and his prep. We would see him do it obviously on Wednesdays, when we had revivals and things like that. And obviously he would do his sometimes Friday, but Saturday evening.
Shut down.
It's I gotta go somewhere. And he didn't physically go somewhere, he went there mentally. So I always ask speakers, not just preachers, like your level of preparation, and what does that look like for you?
So I don't necessarily prepare to preach, I prepare to live. Like everything that I read and study is for me, because I found out early I can't be convincing if I haven't been convicted. It's like if it don't hit me, I ain't gonna have enough power for you to feel it. So like for me to be the best person I can be, if I'm reading on the fruits of the Spirit or the Beatitudes of joy, meekness, peace, all of that, I'm doing it for me. So I'm always in preparation mode. Like if on the ride over here, I was listening to something, because faith comes by hearing the word of God. So I'm always listening to it. So then from there, I'll do a myriad of things. Like what's current events? Like what's the world going through right now? Right? What is the world lacking? What state is our church in? So I get inspiration for what I'm going to talk about based on the thing and the energy that I feel the most, right? And then from there, I'll subject that to God and be like, God, is this what you want me to say? I got this little feeling that I just know. Like, if he don't want me to say it, he don't give me nothing on it. I have written entire formats and he don't speak to me and just erase it. Just if I don't get that feeling, it's like I don't know, man. I keep using sports because you understand it. You know when you about to go off. You know when you like ain't nobody gonna be able to do nothing with me today. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know that feeling?
Yeah, it's about to happen.
And it's about to happen. And then there are some days you talking to yourself like, come on, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, you got to go. So if I feel that, come on, I feel like, may not be it. Once I settle on it, then I create the body or the substratum of what I want to talk about. Like, I create the body. The reason why I start with the body is I've learned in my life, if I start with the subject, then I'll become topical and I'll try to squeeze everything into the subject, which makes it watered down, as you say. So I start with the body, finish with the conclusion, and then I go back to the introduction. That's my method. Body, conclusion, introduction, and then I put the title on it. Sometimes the hardest part for me is the title. I have struggled days on the title when the whole message been finished in 2 days. Just trying to figure out what to call it. Because in this day and time, since our messages are presented online, you got to have a title interesting enough for people to want to hear it. So you can't get up there and say, today I want to talk about you got to live and walk by faith. People are going to be like,
Heard that.
heard that. But if you get up and say, I bet you ain't heard this before, they can be like,
Heard what?
heard what?
Yeah.
So having to acquiesce my titles into in time frame where people will actually want to get it has kind of changed. And so I'm still in the development of how I get that process done.